everyone. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Phil.
We just had it wasn't a disaster, but it frightened we were going to have a disaster because Phil just ran up last minute to get a drink of squash.
And I put it down between the laptops and Caroline goes, no.
Move it. I don't know how many of you remember Coffeegate when Phil spilled a cup of coffee over his laptop and lost everything. Video footage, photographs,
all
Phil's funeral information. It was a nightmare. And then he just put that glass between both our laptops. We're like, oh no.
It's fine, dear. It's fine. And hopefully the flickbook impression from the drive-in has not continued into the live show. I think it was just a technical issue with the YouTube handle in the video tonight, and hopefully you can hear us all and see us all.
Are we still flickering your end?
I don't think so. I think we're fine on my
We must keep still.
monitor.
I think it's too much information for YouTube when he's having a moment.
I'll stay very still.
Very slowly.
Perhaps I've wore too loud a shirt. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Along,
You're upsetting all the electronics.
along with the matching glasses, or spectacles as I like to say, but Caroline corrects me.
What do you say? Are you a glasses or a spectacle person? I think spectacles very...
I wear my spectacles so that I can see my condiments. Caroline doesn't use the term condiments either, do you, dear?
No.
I also drink my little pinky finger.
Right.
But it's lovely to see you all in tonight. It is indeed.
Yes, and who were the first three in? The suspense is killing me.
I
Let's
tell
go to
you
the
what,
top.
there's a regular return to his top post.
Wow, Adam, the Victorian Mudlarks first.
Yes.
Followed very closely by Jen W. Well done. And then Bonnie Tyler Fan 34. Well done. And who was just pipped at the post? Kate Millard. Well done. Nearly there. It's lovely to see you all in tonight. We've got some interesting things coming up. I see there's already some discussion going on about how many times Manky appeared.
Ah, yes. I was surprised. And I was there. And
I was surprised and I edited it.
I said to Caroline, how many times Manky appeared? And she said, bleep. And I said, gosh.
I didn't actually say bleep, I said a number.
But I mustn't give the number because the bonus question at the end of the competition tonight, question number 6.
Rachel's on my side. Ooh, condiments. Somebody's posh.
We have condiments. We may have had egg and chips, but we always use our condiments.
We get endless entertainment from Phil's vocabulary compared to mine. He uses very proper words and I don't.
One of the problems we have is I was brought up in a rather oldie world Pentecostal chapel, so everybody spoke King James English. They did, literally. They spoke King James. They said thus and thou. You know, that's how they prayed and everything. And of course, when they preached, so I grew up with some pretty weird sort of vocabulary. Which, when I met Caroline, who I think until we'd met, you'd been to the odd Sunday school lesson, but you'd never met the crowd I was in with, then it was a bit of a culture shock. A meeting of minds, it was. A meeting of minds. But there we go.
Right, we got a message from Richard Serridge. You might miss my messages, but I sent you an email about March. All right.
Yes, I did see the email.
Right, you eat the sweet?
No. I'm not eating a sweet.
You having a snack while we're on it?
No, stop mocking me. I'm poorly.
Oh, he's not well. He's not well. Look at that face.
At 5 o'clock, I was fine. By 6 o'clock, I was going down fast. 7 o'clock, I'm drinking maximum Lemsips, and I'm now sucking Strepsils just to keep my throat going for this next hour. I have just had a humdinger of a cold hit in the last 2.5 hours. I've been sneezing and all sorts. That's why I just brought this down, because I brought one down and I've already drunk it all.
Yes.
It's trying to cool my throat, because my throat is burning up. I'm getting pretty hot as well, so there probably won't be much left of me by the end of the show. But we're keeping going.
Yes,
we are troopers. We are professionals.
You're amazing. You amaze me.
But
we got Rachel said Caroline was the wild child. I was terrible because I was so scared to do anything wrong. I was petrified of my mother. So I never had anything exciting happen to me because I was always waiting for a clip around the ear roll.
Yes. Whereas I was brought up in a very strict, very religious home, and I was as naughty as they
You was
can.
a very naughty boy.
I was a very naughty boy. A very, very naughty
You
boy.
was.
Yes, I was
His
indeed.
poor mum.
My poor mum, she still don't know half. She still don't know
Rachel
half.
Bailey said, my grandmother was brought up strict brethren.
Ah, right. I know. I had friends that were brethren, yeah. Well, we were like the Pentecostal version of them. Because all the ladies wore hats in our chapel. And then they went all trendy then in the 70s. And the young ladies started wearing, what do they call them? Mantillas, or something, like lace tablecloths on their heads. Yep. But, yeah, we were brought up...
You're awful low. Can you raise yourself up a bit?
I raised me up.
Maybe not quite that high. Anyway.
I feel taller now. But yeah, it's weird though, because I
Linda
was a
said
rebel.
Paul Phillips exactly.
Yes. My mum, she still says I don't know the half. But yeah, me and my brothers were quite rebellious. We shared a few memories together in the last days of my elder brother, as me and my little brother and big brother were just reminiscing a little about his first motorbikes and everything. Yes. But yes.
Ed said he was in between a bit naughty and a bit good.
Was he?
You were mediocre then. Or medium. What would be mediocre? Sounds boring, doesn't it?
Well, I
had a bit of fun, but you were also very sensible.
I was obviously, even as a youngster, I understood the benefits of compromise. Because whilst I didn't attend school, I did like history. So I'd go for the history lesson and then come back out again. Which I think shows a real commitment to my history master, because it meant I was running a very high risk of getting caned in those days, because if they caught you in school and you hadn't been there in the morning, you could have the cane. I had the cane once. Only once. I swore they'd never cane me again. It didn't make me good, but it made me a lot more cunning.
You ran faster.
I did. They never caught me again. No way.
Leanne said I was an absolute menace at school.
Well, I remember once being put in detention and I didn't turn up. And my form master said to me the next day when he saw me wandering around, he said, "Why didn't you turn up for detention?" He said, "I turned up and you didn't." And I said, "Well, can I suggest you don't turn up tonight because I'm not coming anyway."
I would never have had the nerve to say that to a teacher.
So you could see the sense of that. Because as I explained to him, it wasn't my idea, it was his. So he had to turn up, but I didn't. But everything came out in the wash. Look at me now.
Oh, yes.
A reformed character. Right.
Sarah said, are you wearing different glasses, Phil? I think I'm going crazy. Phil does have several pairs of glasses.
Yes. My glasses that I was wearing last week were probably these, which are those. And the glasses I'm wearing this week to go with my shirt are these, because I like to coordinate.
You're like Liberace.
I'm like
his glasses.
I'm like that man of Bargain Hunt.
Yes.
What was his name? Tim somebody or other, wasn't it?
Something.
Yeah. Bargain Hunt. Yes,
Cyber leader Andy said, my mum is 91 and still keeps us in order. I can quite believe it.
Yeah, my mum's 88. I think she's given up on the idea of keeping us in order now. But in fact, I think my mum's become as bad as us. I think we've influenced her more than she influenced us. I think she's become a bit of a rebel herself.
Oh, yes. She knows how to have fun now, your mum.
Oh, my mum went off to London to work when she was in her mid-50s. She passed her driving test in London, second attempt in London City, 56 years of age. She was in her 60s. She went off to the Ukraine for 6 months.
Brian O'Brien, thank you. We got a coffee donation from Brian over on Coffee. Thank you ever so much, Brian. That's really kind of you. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, you are very, very kind. Very kind indeed. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
There was something I wanted to read then, and I've lost
Tim
it.
Wanacott.
Tim Wanacott, yeah.
Lexi, I can tell you watch daytime TV.
Mike says you're a fashion icon.
Whoa!
Right then, shall we have a question? Because time is going to go on. You know what we get started.
We can't have a question. It's not 15:15. It's usually about 25 past when you remember the question.
We're going for a question.
We're not, because we're not back on the screen.
There we go. Sorry, I'm very confused tonight.
Okie dokie. Right, the first question is about video itself, and the question is related to something that happened within the first minute of the video playing. Because during the opening scene of the drive, Caroline put a short drive in this time with the music after we said where we were. During that first opening scene of the drive, we drove onto the mountain here in order to head west towards Neath. And as we did so, we passed a group of 10 horses. How do I know there's 10 horses? I did go on the video and counted them. My question is, how many of those 10 horses were stood on the road? There were 10 horses on and around the road as we drove through. How many stood on the road? Was it A, 1, B, 3, or C, 5?
Go! Right,
what do you
Laura,
think,
yes, I
folks?
can see you. Just looking now. Right, here come the answers, and I think earlier on, somewhere, if I can find it, then Laura said strep throat in capital letters. I'm not sure what it is he's got. There's such a lot of coughs, colds, flu.
It's just a stinker of a cold, and I'm hoping, my theory usually is, if it hits me suddenly, it'll go just as quickly. So I'm hoping that by tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll be gone. But on the other hand, it may not. Regardless, I'll still have to endure and carry on. I'm at work. I have a service at 9:30 on Monday morning, and I will be there. But yeah, it's just one of those colds that comes on quite quickly. So I apologise for the fact I have to keep my hanky in my hand, but if I don't, then I'll be sneezing all night.
If you can see me go...
Caroline's trying to stop me.
I spent all night doing this.
I did go back and forth my seat.
I just grip his leg tightly.
Okay then, let's have a look here. Let's see how many observant people or lucky guessers there are. Right, the first answer in was from Dan, and he had a C, which isn't correct. The second answer in was from Ed, and he had B, and that isn't correct. So the good news is for Rachel, Rachel Remy, who was the third answer in, is you were correct.
Well done, Rachel.
Out of the 10 horses, only one little pony, one little foal was stood right on the road. The rest was stood on the verge and on the grass to the side. So Rachel comes top of the tree. Next on the podium positions is Adam, the Victorian mudlarker.
Well done, Adam.
And then cyber leader Andy.
Well done, Andy.
There we go. They're the 3 A's. There's a few more A's lower down, but it's Rachel, Adam, and Andy have the podium positions on that particular question. So well done to you all.
Right, there was a comment up here somewhere from Rachel. Your mom is an inspiration, Phil. I just turned 50 2 days ago, and it's nice to know there's still some life left ahead of me, lol.
Rachel, for sure. In my new career now, that's exactly what I spend my time doing. I'm researching and developing stuff on the whole area of midlife and the benefits that are there and the opportunities. I'm starting a new career, and I'm 62. My mum was actually retired from her job in London, and they couldn't find somebody suitable to replace her, so they rehired her. They offered her more to come back, and my mum was working in London in a language school in her 60s, and hanging on her flat wall in the accommodation there up in London was the clock that she'd been presented with the plaque on it for her retirement.
Yep.
Yeah, and so as I say, no, there is plenty of life ahead of us, and ultimately we don't know. None of us know whether we're going to live to 70, 80, 90 or 100. We don't know. So we might as well just enjoy every single day and make all our plans.
Rachel said, don't want a cold. I have a concert in 2 weeks with the church choir and singing a solo. You going here? You've had enough now.
I've had enough.
Phil's just leaving. Where are you going?
I'll be back now.
Come back.
I'll be back now. Entertain the troops.
I've no idea. Oh, well, I'll just have to sing you a song or dance or something. No. Right. Phil's got the questions there. So I've got some pictures coming up. I'll show you Bronte, who is Lexi's dog, has had a birthday, and I have here. Now, there's no music or anything with this. It came just with no sound, but I will play that, and you can see Bronte's celebration video. So bear with me, we might have something completely different. There's Bronte. Doesn't she look pretty? I'm not sure whether she's supposed to be eating that pen. As you can see, she has many outfits. She's a very posh dog, very pampered pooch. Look at that. There she's on the beach, playing with a cat. Very cute. And she obviously likes pink. Look how little she was. Oh, that is one very cute doggy. Right, I'm going to come back to us, hopefully, allegedly. Webcam, there we go. Wasn't she lovely?
Like as if I never left.
Oh, you decided to come back then?
I've been all around the house. I've exhausted myself. And what I was looking for was over there. And I now have it.
What was it?
Yes, I just wanted to... I was just going to say, in light of the comment about getting to 50 and thinking there's still something ahead, this guy, Harry Bernstein, I love the title, fantastic story, well written up by quite a number of the critics in numerous papers, but the reason I've got this book amongst my books is because it's not just the excellent story he tells from the Yorkshire area back at the time of the First World War, because Harry Bernstein went out to America to live. But this is his second book that he wrote and had published. When he wrote it, he was working on his third, and he began to write his first book at the age of 93.
That's pretty good going, isn't it?
His wife passed away after 67 years of marriage. He'd always loved writing, and he decided to write a book. His first book was published, and then he worked on his second. And that is written by a guy that was nearly 100 years of age when he wrote and had it published. Don't worry, there's plenty of life in us yet, whether we're 50, 60 or 70.
Well, they say now that it's not ridiculous to expect to live to 100 nowadays. Obviously, other things can happen, but there's nothing wrong with expecting to live to 100. So when you reach 50, you're only halfway. So got another 50 years to go.
Yeah.
Keep you busy for a while. Oh, Paula Sheck's in. Hello, Paula Sheck's been a while. Lovely to see you. Hope everything's fine your end. Everything's fine this end.
Indeed, indeed.
Right then, let's have a look. So, shall we do? I've done Bronte.
You've done Bronte.
So, shall we do another question? Let's see if we can get all the questions done without it being a last-minute Scrabble, okay?
Scrabble. We could play Scrabble. That's a good idea.
No, let's just have a
Online
question.
Scrabble. All the words must be connected to the video. Go on then. Have a question. Now, I know that not everyone, the vast majority were happy with the video this week, but there was at least one comment saying they were disappointed because we had looked in modern shops and they were hoping for oldie world shops. Well, of course, we can't put the shops there. We can just go to the town. At least the Abbey was pretty oldie world, and the castle. And of course, so was the pub. After all, Lord Nelson got in there, and he's going to be in a question later. But the one thing we did choose to do, Neath does have, and we knew this from our big eBay days, a number of charity shops.
Yes.
And some people have been saying they would like to see inside the charity shops or thrift stores. So we thought we'd take the opportunity.
Now, they can get very angry with you for filming inside charity shops, so I gave Phil the camera.
I was going to say, Caroline has solved her fear of being accosted by shop owners in charity shops and told off. Tell me to film. And then wander off and pretend she doesn't know me until we get outside.
Or would I?
Yes. So, having been disowned by my wife, I did film in the charity shop. And I have a question regarding that filming. Because, as I mentioned, there are quite a few charity shops in Neath. And we showed you in the windows of at least 3 of those, which I will name in a moment. But the question is, in which of these 3 shops did we film the Blue Peter annuals that were £2 each? Was it A, the RSPCA charity shop, B, the Greyhound Rescue charity shop, or C, Sense, which is the charity for the deaf and the blind? Was it in their charity shop?
Go.
A, RSPCA, B, Greyhound Rescue, or C, Sense. which of those shops did we go into and I filmed the books in the window, including all those annuals, including one that was from my era when it was Valerie Singleton and that other bloke before.
That other bloke.
Going back to before Peter Purvis and John Noakes.
Oh, I'm not that old.
Yes, I know.
Oh, Paula Sheck said, I love Mr. Johnson. Best speaker ever. Never stops talking.
Yes.
That's a brilliant description.
Yes. Actually, I have said on numerous occasions in numerous places to folks, if they want to check if I'm gone, don't put a mirror over my mouth. If I'm not talking, you can screw down the lid. That's what I say to people. Indeed. You've got to keep the show rolling. Let's have a look here then. All right. Ed went with a guess. I know you went with a guess because you wrote the word guess after it.
Did he get it right?
No.
Oh. Sorry, Ed.
Right then, we got. Oh, well.
Christopher Trace was the original presenter of Blue Peter then, according to his I Believe
There we
Andy.
go then. Well, I've got to give it to you, Ed. You didn't get it right, but you weren't on your own, because Dan Fetters agreed with you, so did Victorian Mudlark, and so did Michelle Grady. So you all went for B, which was Greyhound Rescue, and I'm sorry, that is not correct. Which means, Rachel Bailey, Raimi, you have come in yet again with the first correct answer.
Well done, Rachel.
No, sorry, you haven't.
Oh!
Sorry, Rachel.
Well, what a letdown.
Sorry, I got it wrong now. It wasn't the RSPCA either. So I've got to go right down, all the way to Cyber Leader Andy. In order to get a correct answer, I'm going to blame it on my ill health.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to blame it on. I'm going to blame my ill health.
So sorry, Rachel. You get an honorary silver gilt.
Yes. Rachel, congratulations on being the first person to get the wrong answer A. Because the other four in front of you had the wrong answer B. And then everybody got a wrong answer until the 9th answer, which was Cyber Leader Andy, who actually said C because it was in sense.
Well done, Andy.
The shop with the orange sign and the big window display. And as we showed the window display, you could see the backs of the books in the window. Then I went in and filmed them. So, is Cyber Leader Andy the only person to have guessed the correct answer? No, he's not. Because if we go down about another half a dozen answers, we get to Mr. Mike Sage. And Kate Millard. So there we go.
Mike and Kate too.
It's Andy, Mike and Kate
have
got the correct answer, which was, and then there's a few others after that as well. But it was Sense, yeah. They were the shop that had them. And according to Lexi, she saw some of those annuals in an antique shop.
Oh, right.
And
they were a bit more expensive.
Yeah, they were 5 times the price. In fairness, they weren't in the best of nick. But if you just wanted to own an annual from your time, they were as good as you need, and £2 ain't bad.
And Paula Sheck said, I also need to emphasise that I love your accent, very exotic.
Very exotic?
You've got an exotic accent.
I have an exotic Valleys accent. Not many people in the Valleys think of themselves as exotic.
Charlotte said, I'm sure if you asked a film and mentioned the shop, I would think they would agree. We will have to try that. I know there are some shops in Newport that have been very funny with us, just for being eBay resellers. They look in your bag, they check what you're doing on your phone, they're terrible. So I don't think they'd be very pleased with you filming. But
it's all down to the individual.
Yes.
But legally, I have checked the legal status, and the legal status is that if a building is open to
this is what Phil's read. We can't guarantee this is the truth, but...
that's what my research.
Yes, Phil's research has said
that if a building is open to the public and there are no notices stating you are not to film or take photographs, then you are free to film or take photographs. But with the proviso that if you are then approached by a member of staff and asked not to, then you have to comply with their wishes because it is their property. But if they haven't put a notice up and it is open to the public, the reason I looked at this because I was considering a possible visit. Kate and Oliver have been to the Mint in Llantrisant, which isn't too far from here, and I thought that might be a nice visit sometime. But I thought, will we be allowed to film in there? And they said on the factory tour, no filming is allowed. And then it was while I was checking that out, I found if it's a public building, you can film unless you're instructed otherwise. So if there's a notice, you've got to comply with it, and if an individual asks you. So you can make the presumption, which is what I was doing in Neath. I was presuming it was okay, and making sure nobody saw me. So, although I looked like I was being criminal, I wasn't. I was just trying to avoid confrontation.
Like Dean Wall said, what is Blue Peter? It's, when we were kids, it was a programme, it was educational. They told you very simple science, but it was interesting. They taught you, they were always making something out of sticky back plastic.
And
they
copy decks, rubber solution glue. Yeah.
And they always did a Christmas Advent candle made out of coat hangers and tinsel, and they'd light candles on it. And it was just like a nice family programme designed for children. But then it's become more modern over the years, and now we wouldn't recognise it.
I haven't watched it in recent
I don't even know if it's still on.
It probably
Lexi
is.
was asking if it is. I'm not sure, but if it is, I wouldn't recognise it.
Because BBC, that's the British Broadcasting Company, had Blue Peter, and the Blue Peter is the name of a flag or a ship, and it's from the naval things, and so they used to give a Blue Peter badge, which if you won a prize, which was a shield shaped badge. One of our children actually got a Blue Peter badge.
They did?
With a badge on it, with a picture of a blue ship, sailing ship. But that was on BBC. Then the independent television, which is ITV, when that started, they came up with their own version of it, which was Magpie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Used to start.
I was never into Magpie.
No,
it was good.
The Magpie was the ITV spin-off, and they was their copy of it, and they tried to jazz it up a bit and make it a bit more sort of kid-friendly. But most people sort of stuck with well, some watch both, I dare say. But
we watched, but there wasn't a lot on, so we watched both. But I didn't enjoy Magpie so much.
No, well, you had Children's Hour, which was between 5 and 6. The news come on at 6 o'clock.
I think it.
Or was it 4 and 5?
4 and 5, wasn't it? I don't
4
remember.
and 5.
Anyway,
and then you'd have Crossroads and stuff.
You had Jack and Ori.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't really into, but I listened to it because there was nothing else.
I remember running over to school to watch Top Cat.
Yeah, you can't actually sing it, up it. You can't sing it.
I can't sing it. You're right. I can't sing for Toffee.
No, you're not allowed to sing it.
Yeah, Top Cat. I remember Top Cat. I dare say there's a few people out there who remember that.
Oh, interesting. No thing about Blue Peter. Those who watched it, they had a dog called Petra that died, and they took in the Blue Peter garden. They built they had a statue. Like a carving of a head, I think it was on top of this very big huge plinth.
Stone plinth.
Phil would have been proud of that plinth. It was huge, and that came from the quarry in Gethley Gay, which is about 3 miles from here. And I was born in Gethley Gay, so.
In fact, I doubt if it's 3 miles to the quarry, because before you get to Gethley Gay, it's on the mountain halfway there. It's called the Gethley Gay Common, but it's almost as near to Bargard. Yeah, they took the stone from there.
Christina, I'm not quite sure who you interrupted there, but you've given us a 40 Swedish crown. Super chat, thank you ever so much. What's this little fox saying? How's it going? Oh, thank you, Christina. Everything's fine here, and hope everything's fine with you, and we really do appreciate that. That is so kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Saturday morning with Noel Edmonds, Ed Creative said.
Oh, I remember the
Top Cat,
swap
my
shop.
favourite. Yeah.
I always desperate to have something that they say, I'm looking for this and I'll swap it. That I never had anything anybody wanted. But I so wanted to get one of those swaps and never did.
And the banana bunch.
Oh, yes.
And the double deckers. Yeah, I remember all them. Double deckers and the banana bunch.
Oh, Beata said, did you feel the earthquake in Wales? No, I didn't.
No, asleep.
I missed it. I was asleep. I did feel the last one we had because I was in bed ill and I was really rough. Everybody was out and it was just me. And I felt the bed sort of like this, like it was being bumped. And then a second later, it actually went vroom, 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 3 movements. And I'm like, oh, it was really spooky, but I was too ill to get out of bed.
Oh, Lisa G.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. We got a $3 super chat from Lisa of My Hero. Oh, thank you ever so much, Lisa.
Thank
That's really
you.
kind of you.
That's
Thank
very,
you.
very generous of you. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh no, actually, I must correct myself there. I lied.
Go on, correct
I
yourself.
didn't
She's always
stay
lying.
in bed because I was feeling ill. I did get myself to the window to check that I thought maybe a lorry had hit the house and it hadn't.
There you go.
But I wouldn't want the world to think that I'd lay in bed and ignored it. I did get up to check and then I got back into bed because I was very well.
First we knew about this one, the epicentre was in Merthyr, and the first time we knew about it was when it came up on the news.
Bagpuss, yeah. Tiswas has Sally James. I can't really remember Tiswas much. I'm trying to think now.
Isn't Tiswas?
Ed said with the earthquake, he thought something ran across the room, but later realised it was the quake. It was a 4.2, was it, Ed? Or a 3.8, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was after I'd gone to sleep.
Yeah, Ed thought it was a ghost. I don't even believe in ghosts. It freaked me out when the bed moved like that. You're like, you see all these creepy films, all these poltergeists and scary things, on which I knew it couldn't possibly be because I don't believe they exist, sort of thing. So I wasn't too worried. I just don't want to freak anybody out. But it wasn't anyway. It was an earthquake.
We have tremors and some that are termed quakes in this country, but nothing of any note or significance.
No.
And obviously, talking about earthquakes tonight, I'm sure all of our thoughts go to the people in Turkey and the surrounding areas where there's been such destruction, over 50,000 lives lost. So, nothing ever hits this country just because of the nature of the way the continents and the strata underneath is arranged.
Filling my cup up.
Sometimes we have issues that are industrial related here in Wales. You'll have we did a video about a village that was sinking because of the mine works underneath, and you'll get sinkholes opening up as a result. But when it comes to the natural phenomena of an earthquake, nothing major.
We've had a sinkhole open up about 2 days ago in
Caerphilly,
yes, which is not well. We took you to Caerphilly a couple of days. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, down near where we were filming on the castle.
And that one's 30 foot across, so that's not as big as some. I've seen some in some of these countries, and they're massive. You could lose a village down them.
But we're very fortunate in the UK. When we moan about our weather or say it's extreme, it's well within the confines of things we can deal with. It never gets terribly, terribly dangerously cold or really. It rarely gets dangerously hot. We don't have cyclones that are worth speaking of. We don't get tornadoes. We're quite blessed, really, for an island sat in the middle of a puddle. We don't get, we have a moan. The one thing we always talk about in this part of the world is the weather. And we're usually complaining. If it's hot, it's too hot. If it's cold, it's too cold. If it's raining, it's too wet. If it doesn't rain, we're moaning because we got a hose pipe back. We love to talk about weather. But we don't have the extreme things that I'm sure some of the people that are listening have to deal with, because I know we say it's cold and then somebody from Canada will come on and put their temperature up and
that's
think,
not cold.
No, wait, it's not cold here. It's colder sometimes waiting for a bus in Canada than it is inside my freezer up in the kitchen. So we're very blessed.
Translate this?
Clangers.
That's Rachel saying that she's got a knitted clanger.
That's Rachel saying.
Do you remember the clangers?
Yep, I remember the clangers.
Lisa G lives on a fault line.
Yeah. Tell another one I remember. Rhubarb and custard. I like
these. They're the ones like this all the time.
The colourings were all.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, rhubarb and custard. I also like the sweets. Rhubarb and custard.
People say they've had some encounters. I never have. And so that's just we all come from where our baseline is, and for me, I never have. And I'll let you know if ever I do, but I extremely doubt it because, well, I'll tell you how nuts I am, okay?
This is my wife. She's
nuts. Well, I know that people say I'm not nuts. Now, my father's been dead now for a couple of years. We finally found him. There's a bit of a problem, and I couldn't find out where he was buried. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So I found out where he was buried. So I went to the grave, and I didn't think there was any hope of him ever contacting me, because I just didn't think it's what happens. And so I said, come on, my dad. If you're really there, I know what you're like, you'd want to contact me, so come on, a little puff of wind, something, give me some sign to let me know. and there was nothing. So I slowly walked back to the car, and as I got in the car, I said, "Come on, Dad, this is your last chance. One little puff. Oh, that's it. I know you're never going to contact me." And there was no little puff. So, and as mad as crazy as that sounds, and I didn't even expect it to happen, but I just thought, well, I feel like I should do something to be absolutely sure, because this is one opportunity I've got. And I did that, and there was absolutely nothing at all. And my father was so talkative. He said something.
You wait till I'm gone.
Oh.
You wait till I'm gone. I'll never shut up.
But then again, I'm not disputing anybody else's experience, and that's where my experience lies.
Somebody saying, yeah, Dean Wall, minus 30 degrees centigrade most of this
cold.
week. And then we've got Rainbow Zippy, we've got Ivor the Engine set in Wales, yes. And of course, Super Ted was Welsh as well. Super Ted was Welsh. And then you've got Postman Pat, he's Welsh, and he's from Pontypandy.
Yes.
I tell you what, we've had quite a few cartoons set in Wales. The next one will be the Yorkshire Panda, who came to live in Wales.
Yes.
That's the one we'll have to do next. Mr. Ben, I remember Mr. Ben. And Captain Pugwash. Captain Pugwash, he was a pirate. He was indeed. Anyway, do you want another question? Because we're spending all our night on TV programmes. Right then, folks. This is the Lord Nelson question.
Right.
We have...
Is he the one with he only had one arm, didn't he?
Yeah, and one eye.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he died.
At
the Battle of Trafalgar, and he's
probably got the wrong arm and eye missing back.
He's the chap on top of the column in the middle of Trafalgar Square. We have a town called Nelson, not far from here, and it has a Nelson Inn. But in Neath, they don't have the pub named after Nelson, but they do have a pub that Nelson visited. He was on his way somewhere at the time, and the place he was going to named a pub after him. So, here's the question. The only visit that Lord Nelson ever made, that we know of, to Pembrokeshire was in 1802. That's a few years ago. Just 3 years before he was killed at the Battle of Trafalgar. It was on that trip that he stopped off at the Castle Hotel in Neath, which we filmed.
We did.
He was en route to which Pembrokeshire port? Was it A, Pembroke Dock, B, Milford Haven, or C, Fishguard?
Go.
Where was Nelson heading in 1802 when he stopped off for a rest at the Castle Hotel in Neath? Was he heading for Pembroke Dock, Milford Haven, or Fishguard? He was on his way, obviously, to join his fleet. They'd come in to Wales. He travelled probably from London, where he'd probably been meeting with dignitaries, politicians, and the king. And he was heading back out to fight for the nation. And he had to travel across land to a port in the west of Wales in Pembrokeshire. All three of those ports are in Pembrokeshire, but obviously he only went to one of them. Which one do you think it was?
Spoiler alert, Richard. It's not L.
No, but...
Could be A, B, or C, but it's definitely not L. I can tell you that. Right, so do we have a winner?
The worrying thing is when you go for L is there's not an A, a B, or a C anywhere near it on the keyboard.
No.
It's not even... If that's a slip of the finger, then that's a big slip. So, where was it? Well, we've got quite a few correct answers in, and the first two answers in before Richard gave us L are correct.
Oh.
So, this time, top of the tree, Ed Creative with B.
Well done, Ed.
It was Milford Haven, which was said in the video.
It was?
It was indeed. Dan Fetters also went for
Dan.
B. And then I've got a row of 5 Bs in a row, but the first of them is the lady with the B, Lexi B.
Oh, well done, Lexi.
So it's Ed, Dan and Lexi get the top 3 places. But in fairness, Victoria, Beata, Bonnie Tyler, Fan Club 34, Linda, all 4 in a row straight after Lexi had B as well. So with 5 in a row with B, but the first 2 were in. Then 5 in a row, but Lexi was number 1 of those. So it's Ed, Dan and Lexi. Well done.
Right. Now we got some more pictures to show you, and they've been sent to us by Adam, and I'll let Phil do the talking because I'll never remember the details.
This is linked to one of Adam's recent videos because Adam found a tankard, which links very well with the public house that was visited in 1802, because Adam found this tankard and thought, "Ooh, I wonder how old this is." I think it's around about the early 1900s, maybe a bit earlier. He took it along to the museum to have a look, and they made him report it to, what's it called? Is it the FOL or something? The guy in charge of registering finds, because they believed it was actually from the 1700s, which is a pretty old tankard. Now, there's a bit of a mystery surrounding some of the markings, and Adam was asking specifically about the letters. Now, I've got a theory. I don't know whether it holds water. I know the tankard probably doesn't, because it's had a bit of an hammering over the last 200 odd years. But we will put up this possibly 300-year-old tankard.
Right, and see what everybody thinks.
And see what everybody thinks. Here's the pictures for you to have a look at. There it is.
It's a bit squashed.
Bit of a ding, but I tell you what, not in bad nick at all.
And then we've got that from another angle.
See this? You can see the shape and the form and the size.
Nice where the handle was fixed.
Yeah, obviously the handle's long gone, but you can see around the centre the raised piece that gave it a pattern. And here we see at the top the white marking. There's some kind of letter in there. And
there it is. WP, it looks like to me.
Yeah, now that's what I'm thinking. That letter in there with a bit of white around it, I'm thinking it possibly WP. And what my theory is if those tankards were often left by the owner at the pub.
Oh, got to interrupt you. Thank you, Jeannie Nash, for your coffee donation. Oh, thank you, Jeannie. That's really kind of you. Thank you. We really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, they're really grateful. Really grateful, Jeannie. Thank you very much. I think the way the letters are shaped, I think somebody had that engraved on there, either themselves or when it was given as a gift, because they would leave their tankard at the pub. These days, if you go into a public house or a tavern, then they'll use one of their glasses. And they are provided, you know, something like this or whatever that would be provided by the brewery. But back then, you took your own and you put them behind the bar. And the initials would have indicated who it belonged to.
Ed Creative said it's CWS.
Could be. And
it's a co-op one.
But whatever the lettering is, whatever they come back with, because I think when Adam wrote to me in the week, they were still waiting for the report from these people with regards to the find. But I'm sure we all agree, what an awesome find. And if you haven't seen the video already with Adam and finding this tankard and talking about it, then please do so. Check out Adam's channel. But thanks for sharing those pictures, Adam. I hope folks will be able to give you some ideas. But that's my idea. Personalisation of the tankard so that when it was left at the tavern, pub or whatever, you could come in and immediately they knew where Mr. Walter Pritchard's tankard was, because his initials were on it.
Right, now I'm going to ask you a question based on Adam's pictures.
Oh, look out. Caroline's got an obsession with my thumb.
Which one is it? It's not
Let's
that
go
one.
back a bit.
That one. Right, can you see there the shape on Adam's thumb? See if it's a better picture somewhere.
Yeah, I think that was the best.
No, that's the best one. You can see Adam's thumb there.
Will it move over a bit? Is it? Oh, it won't.
No, that's the one behind it.
All right.
So I'm going to go to the top here.
I thought there was one where it's showing
I thought there was, but I can't see the one that I thought we had. But it got me thinking about thumbs. Now, thumbs are different. Nothing wrong with Adam's thumbs, but his thumb curls back.
Yeah.
Phil's thumb curls back. My thumb is straight. Now, my thumb, I can't get it any further than that. I can push. Nothing happens. It's just jammed. Phil
I got two.
Can go round the corner with his. So what I thought would be a little bit of fun is if you've got straight thumbs like me, put C. And if you've got bendy thumbs like Phil, put P. And let's see Who's got more?
This is
teeth?
a
Which one's
scientific
yes.
experiment to find out a
Which is
cross-section
more
of the
popular?
population across the world. Is it an even split between bendy thumbs or... I got to do that to straighten mine. I can't put it up. If I put it up straight, it does that.
Wow, all these P's are coming in. Wait, Catherine's on a C. Dee Dee's C, Karen's C.
I'd say
and then Leanne's C. And then mainly P's. Dean's a C. Rachel's got one of each. Lisa's a... Look how many P's there are.
There we go. So
Wow, so...
I'd say 2/3 of the world have bendy
Yes,
thumbs.
I'm in the minority then with my straight thumbs.
Ideal for hitchhiking.
Or hanging clothes on.
Hanging things on.
Getting around corners to find things.
But there we go. Because
You're a C. If yours doesn't bend, Lexi, you're a C. C is for straight like Caroline, and P is for bendy like
I
Phil.
know it would have been easier to put S for straight and B for bent, but Caroline decided to confuse it all by using no names. But there we go.
Well, Libby Tech has got a V, so that's interesting. It could be a C, because it's next door to B. So there we go, we have it here, the definitive answer. More people have bendy thumbs than straight thumbs.
At least.
Ooh.
More people that watch our channel.
Yeah, I wonder what that says about.
I don't know.
Least, or is it only one of mine bends? No, I noticed when I was putting my finger, I never noticed it before, but I'm sure that one there bends a little bit, doesn't it? Like that one doesn't. Can't do it now. But that one, I'm sure is a bit bent. So yeah, I've got a bit of a bend on one, but the other one is poker straight.
Mine bends.
Look at that.
Mine broke. Yeah.
Lexi said we would be comparing hooves next.
That's right. No, you'll be...
That could be a bit difficult.
Do not walk up to strangers and ask them if they got bendy thumbs. They just may think you're strange.
Well, you could pretend to do market research.
Well, that's what we're doing. We're doing the market research. We are. Indeed, we're doing
So
the
there we
market
go. You
research.
have it here. Bendy thumbs are more popular.
Indeed.
Right then, let's have another question. How are we doing on questions? How many have we done?
We're halfway through.
Oh, we're running late already.
No, plenty of time.
There you go.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So
I
I got caught out by not big toes. Don't go there. You distracted me.
Okay. I was very impressed with the Abbey in Neath, and I know that so were a lot of you, and I know in particular, I think it was Rufus was saying, he travels to the steelworks and passes that Abbey off the dual carriageway. You saw us show the dual carriageway? Rufus drives along there every day of the week and looks over and sees the higher walls of the ruin. But he said he never realised how extensive or how beautiful it was. And he intends to pay a visit now. And we were blown away by the sheer extent of the grounds and the buildings. It just went on and on and on. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And that particular abbey in Neath was described in the early 16th century as the home of culture in Wales and as a stronghold of the Welsh language. So the Welsh language was being preserved within the confines of the Abbey, and they were maintaining a great deal of the local Welsh culture within their walls. But that didn't save it from the decisions of Henry VIII and the dissolution of the monasteries. But whilst most of the monasteries were taken over in 1536, Neath Abbey wasn't. And the reason for this is that the abbot who was there at the time paid a large sum of money to the king's people as a fine so that they could continue their work as an abbey. They paid £150. That doesn't sound a lot until you realise that's about £70,000 of today's money. Here's my question. How long did that delay their inevitable fate of following the rest of the monasteries? Were they able to stay open for A, 1 more year, B, 3 more years, or C, 5 more years.
Go.
Okay, so the
That was a
abbot...
very long question.
A lot of information, see? The abbot paid the equivalent of £70,000 in today's money to the king's people so that they wouldn't seize the lands of the abbey. They gave him permission to continue, but how long did that last before they moved in and took over his abbey? Was it A, 1 year, B, 3 years, or C, 5 years?
Oh, hello, Nick and Andrea. I'm assuming it's Nick, but it could be one, the other, or it could be Andrea, or both. Lovely to see you.
Ooh.
What's the matter?
I'm
getting out of breath?
I'm
Poor
flagging.
He's not well. He's
I'm not a well man. I went down with a cold about 4 hours ago and I'm going down fast.
Oh.
I am currently surviving on strepsils, large drinks of squash, and I took Lemsip Power Max flu potions. So this is the best it gets for tonight. And Richard reckons they stayed open for 174 years. Well done, Richard, but you're wrong. Right then, let's have a look here. The correct answer was 3 years.
Who got that right?
Well, it wasn't. Do you know what? Dan and Ed again in right at the top each time, but they're just not getting the right answers every time. And like last time, this time,
They're quick.
yeah, this time they went for 5, and that's not correct. Richard went for 174. That's not correct. But we have got a B, and it is from the Victorian Muddler.
Well done, Adam.
The man with an anchor, Adam, went for the B. Who else went for B? Right next to him, Mike Sage.
Well done, Mike.
And then Rachel Ramey is up again.
Well done, Rachel.
Followed immediately by Rachel Bailey, who also had B. But
nearly there. We'll give you a silver gilt as well.
yeah, the podium positions go to Adam, Mike, and Rachel Ramey going with the B. Yeah, they managed to gain 5 years, 3 years extension. To give you an indication of the sort of value of the money, when it was shut, the people in charge of closing the monasteries kind of liked this guy. He had a good reputation in the area. He'd done a lot for securing, as I say, the culture of the nation, etc. And he had done a lot to try and to bring peace. As I mentioned in the thing, at one time they were collecting the weapons to stop any skirmishes in the town and this sort of thing. So they recommended to Thomas Cromwell that he shouldn't be treated badly and should have been given somewhere to go. So they actually gave him a place to live and a pension of £48 a year.
There we go.
Not bad, is it?
No.
It's the equivalent to 25 grand now. That's not bad when you think some of them lost everything. So he was obviously well thought of, but his 150 quid, £70,000 today's money only bought him 3 years stay in execution.
I'm just thinking, everybody now, if they know, they'd be keeping an eye on my arm and you can see me do this. Trying to stop it.
I'm on my chase here.
Now when you see my arm going like that, I'm trying to stop Phil.
Yeah, I'm nursing myself to sleep.
People are sending you good wishes for speedy recovery.
I'm sure I will. I went down so blooming fast. I'm sure I'll bounce back up just as quickly, hopefully tomorrow. Because as I say, I'm in the creme 9:30 on Monday doing a service. So I really need to at least be able to speak.
Yes,
that would be helpful.
Useful.
Yeah, but
no, if not, I'll do the job for you.
So far, I've always made
that.
it. So far, I've always made it.
Yeah.
So far, I've always made it. I'll make it. We'll be fine.
Right. So we got one more question to do and 5 minutes to do it in. So let's go.
No, we
for
haven't.
It. Haven't we?
No, because we then got we've got one more question and then we got.
All right, we
Manky
definitely
question.
better go for another question.
We got 2. Well, as I pointed out during the video this week, the abbey at Neath, whilst there is so much of it gone, as I said, the lead roofs were not a good idea because they nicked all the lead and then the places fell down. But what's left is beautiful. It is beautiful, and I hope we captured that for you because there was this wonderful atmosphere. The bird song there was fantastic when they were walking
very
through.
noisy.
Yeah, it was great. But we almost lost everything. We almost lost all of those beautiful ruins as well. because the Industrial Revolution almost carried out the work that all of the problems before did not. Because the Abbey in 1790 was handed over to an industrialist who actually opened inside the ruins a foundry. He built furnaces, workshops, accommodation for the workers, everything. Just housed it all inside the ruins of the Abbey and started the works of a foundry. The question is, what metal were they smelting inside the Abbey? Was it A, iron, B, bronze, or C, copper?
Go. Hello, Linda.
What do you think, folks? What do you think?
Well, Rachel said, I love visiting my local Abbey ruins at Furness Abbey, owned by the English Heritage. There's somewhere we're going to have to check out. Next year, when we get our free entry into the English Heritage, we'll be going to...
This year we got half price because we joined Welsh Cadw. But next year when we renew, we'll get free in England as well.
Yeah, so we're waiting. We're holding back on the English ones, most of them anyway, until we get our free entry.
The interesting thing is that some abbeys are free entry because they're open ruins, and that includes Neath. They've got a gate, so it's open from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. But you don't even have to be a member of Cadw to enter that particular place. So if anybody is living locally or is visiting Wales and goes down to Pembrokeshire, or Carmarthenshire, that's in, isn't it? Or not even that far down. But if you're down that area, Swansea way, and you want to pay a visit, between 10 and 4, it's free to enter. There's no fee whatsoever.
Well, we're going, take a picnic and have a lovely day there. Oh, Kate said, sad news here today. All of us bug wellies have a hole. He's gutted, but we are keeping them because they are so famous from your video. Oh, yes, definitely. It may be worth checking, Kate. I don't know, but I've heard that some people will actually, they'll take the wellies and fix them for you. They strip them down, put all new lighting and goodness knows what in them and make them like good as new sort of thing.
I would
so if they're really special, but if not, use it. You could use them to make a planter with in the garden, or. And
also the reason for not doing that is it's different if you're our age and the wellies are going to stay the same size, but Oliver's going to outgrow them anyway.
That's right,
so better off getting him a new pair, but keep those just
good
for
idea.
The prestige. Take a snippet of the video, put a photograph next to him and have a welly.
Turn them into a photo frame, one welly either side, with a photo frame in the middle of Ollie with his wellies on, Oliver with his wellies on the video. That'd be a good one.
Now we're thinking. Okay, so let's have a look. What have we got? Now then, 1 or 2 went for... In fact, the first 3 answers went for iron.
Right.
And I know why.
Do you?
I do. At least I think I know why. If it's because they were listening to the video, there was an ironworks right next door. The neighbour to the Abbey in the 1700s was an ironworks. But in the Abbey, it was a copper foundry. Which means that whilst the first 3 answers were wrong, the 4th answer was right, and it's from Mr. Mike Sage again.
Well done, Mike.
There we go.
Do we have a Rachel in the top 3?
Hang on. Well, we got lots of B's and A's, and then we come down to 2 C's in a row. And after Mike, the next correct answer with copper is Michelle Grady.
Well done, Michelle.
And Lisa Roberts.
Well done, Lisa.
And in fact, straight after that was Rachel Bailey and Christina Mitazaki. So it was 4 in a row.
There.
But it's Mike, and then Michelle, and then Lisa. Don't we have some pictures to show?
Yes, of something.
Yes, we do. Of the pipes.
Are you going to bear with me a second?
That's it.
There we go.
There we go. Those are pictures that we meant to show a week or so ago, and we had problems with the computer because we couldn't get any of our jingles to load up or any of the images. So those images there were sent to us by Michelle, and they are pictures of Valentine cards which have ladies and little angels, cherubs with clay pipes, obviously meant to blow bubbles and blow in hearts on this occasion. But she thought they were quite interesting and amusing, sent them to us, and we wanted to show them to everyone. So there we go. So a little bit late for Valentine's.
Yes, but
due to
still worth looking at.
technological problems. But I knew they were still, and the reason Caroline forgot was because they'd been in the computer waiting to go up, and they didn't go up.
I never remember something over a week.
So it is now 10 o'clock. So the only thing left to do is to say, how many times did you see Manky appear during this week's video? Was it A, 2, B, 4, or C, 6?
Go.
What are you thinking, folks? Do you think Mr. Manky made 2 appearances in this week's video? Do you think he made 4 appearances in this week's video? Or do you think he made 6 in this week's video? Now, somebody's going to argue with us because Judy's going for 5. She's arguing. She doesn't agree with any of our answers. And she's not on her own because Peggy Reed goes with 5 as well. Richard, he thinks it was 5,653. I think why you've got confused there, Richard, is you have watched the repeat so many times, but you mustn't count them every time, you see. You've obviously watched it roughly 1,000 times over, and you've been counting them all. So there we go.
He's a big Manky Panda fan, understandable. What's that, Manky? Yes, I know he does love you. What's that? I can check. Manky says, is it okay if he gives you all a Manky kiss? Because he said it's been a long week. You know, he's worn out. So you must all be worn out. So he wants to give you a big Manky kiss to rejuvenate you. Especially for Richard for watching the video 1,000 times just to see Manky. So pack it up, here he comes. I was happy now. You're going to go on your shelf, yeah?
Right then, folks. I'm obviously going to have to double check our edit and re-watch this afterwards. I'm going to give the official answer, but where 2 people have gone for 5, I'm starting to wonder, they know something we don't know, or did they both miss number 6?
Could be, because I was writing down every time I saw him.
Yeah, well, we're going with the official answer.
And I got, 6 on my bit of paper.
Oh, there we are. Then what if you tell them what the answer is, Lev, before I do?
Oh, sorry.
No, I was about to tell him. We've got 6. Okay, folks? We have 6. So, but as I say, we do have at least 2 people that wrote the number 5. Judy and Peggy. So we will triple check. But going with the answer 6, which we have, then Ed, you're top of the tree because you have written the number 6.
Well done, Ed.
Then Beata Heinz has got C, which is 6.
Well done, Beata.
And then Adam's got 3, that wasn't on there. Christy's got 3, that wasn't on there. So Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
There we go. They have 3 for tonight.
I'll run through the ones I can remember. I can't remember them all, but there was the one with him looking in the estate agent window.
Yes.
There was the one behind Phil when he was doing his talk.
There was the one looking through the window to the Tudor mansion.
Yes, looking through the window.
There was the one when he was high up on a wall.
Yes, when I did an arch and he was up in the arch. So that's 4.
There was another...
Can anybody remember any others? I know every time I saw him when I was editing, I wrote a little number down and I got to 6.
But we'll double check that. But 6 is the official answer, and we have got some correct people. So Ed, Beata, and Rachel, you got the 6s and C's. So they've got the position for the top 3 podium
Well
positions.
done.
Well, it's 10:05.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. It's been great fun.
I'm going to go and have another lem sip.
Yep.
Actually,
Phil needs to get to bed.
I'm not due. I'm not allowed one till 11 o'clock, so I took one at 7. But glad I survived the whole show. Sorry I've been falling apart a bit. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to the 51 people who've given us a thumbs up.
Yes,
that's absolutely
thank you ever so much.
brilliant.
It's really kind of you.
Yeah, that means a lot. 52. There we go.
Oh, lovely.
Right,
thank you so
we'll
much.
see you all on the premiere in the chat on Friday, and then back here next Saturday.
That's right. So we'll see you next time. But until then, don't forget, have
fun.
Bye.
Bye.